Welcome to Coleman Report Live, Labor Day Friday edition, Friday Light, Fraud Friday. I'm Bob Coleman. We're talking Main Street and the small business lenders to help it grow. Lance Sexton out of Arkansas. Delaney is somewhere in the ether. Say hello, Delaney.
Hello, I'm outside the school library.
And Joseph Coleman, fight on, Joseph. We're in the USC shirt. What we're going to do today is we have a number of clips that we want to run. And do me a favor, or if you have problem viewing it, send an email to Joseph or myself. We are going to record this, and so they will be up on YouTube. This is still a little beta technology, but we're trying to do more and more of this because it is interesting and it adds a different flavor of how we're presenting our information. Joseph, set this up and play it.
Yeah, so Robert Fisher is the chairman of the ICBA. He's the president and CEO of Tioga State Bank. He was asked by the committee, the House Committee on Small Business, about fraud, how his bank reacted to PPP fraud. And he basically said they had a very good relationship with each customer, which mitigated a lot of that risk. So let me go ahead and play it right now, and then we can go ahead and talk about it. So again, mute your line or enable the audio, but here we go. It's a short clip.
Well, we've always felt that, with the 7A program and 504 programs, that community banks and, we have that relationship with our borrowers, and I think it really has reduced fraud. As I said, we experienced zero fraud in our PPP lending, and I think that just shows how relationship banking works and how utilizing community banks to be the interface with small business is so effective.
Excellent.
See, right, I have to move my. Am I still muted?
No, we can hear you.
If you can't see it, you need to move the GoToWebinar screen in a place, and my computer plays behind it. Maybe that's what's going on with yours if you can't see it. Hopefully everyone heard the audio. That was a nice clip. Lance, takeaway is know your borrower.
Well, I think that's true, and I don't know if he's trying to speak against fintechs being involved in SBA lending, but he's right on point. The banks that are involved, the fraud that occurred with community bank PPP lending was, I'm going to guess it was less because they know who their customers are.
Yeah, I mean
they have a relationship with them. They probably have a business checking account. They probably have other small business loans. So that absolutely makes sense.
Clip number 2, Joseph. What do we got? And again,
I'm getting a lot of feedback. It's just 2 clips today. So okay. if you don't, I'll just revert you to everything's hosted on our YouTube channel. So the second clip is from Representative Jim Hagedorn. I think that's right. He was talking about the bureaucracy of SBA, how slow it moved in the beginning, and he was reverting to how fraud was minimized because banks. So let me go ahead and play that again, a short clip, and we'll go ahead.
Try moving your screens around because the one I have plays behind it. Go ahead, Joseph.
Okay.
An effort to retain their turf. They see the writing on the wall that if we turn over the idle loans and others to the banks, where we can minimize fraud and do better for our customers, that they're going to lose some of their power.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. That was ugly.
I know.
I
All right, I think we're done with clips for the day.
We're still working. Give us some time.
I think he's making a valid point to some extent because the banks did such a good job, especially in round one, of rolling out PPP. And the idle loan program has had some trouble. Now, I don't think it's a turf battle in my view. SBA has more work than they could possibly imagine dealing with PPP and idle restaurant revitalization, live event venue grant. SBA is not trying to protect turf; they're just trying to get the money out there. And but I do agree that community banks probably could have gotten the idle money out quicker and more effective.
As well as restaurant revitalization, they obviously the banks put out billions of dollars for PPP, and they could have very well run that with Cheddar Venue and for restaurant revitalization and Idle, for that matter. Now SBA has to deal with Hurricane Ida.
Yeah.
John Riosty was talking about that. How Katrina and Sandy were very instrumental in the disaster program. Ida is just a new problem that they have to deal with. So that's going to be very influential.
Let's bring Delaney in. Delaney, we have a couple Fraud Friday story. What did this lady do out of Virginia? First of all, what was her position? Oh, Joseph, thank you very much. I see Joseph is getting out of here very quickly.
So she was the executive. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go. You're fine.
Okay, she was the former executive director of the EDA in Virginia. She worked there for about 10 years, from 2008 to 2018. And starting in 2014, she started planning a scheme. So she had multiple partners involved. I couldn't find a lot of information about them, but they would use the EDA's money to purchase property, and sometimes property that she could even make commission off of. And she was also using this money to pay off various debts belonging to her, her friends and family, and the company she was in charge of.
Lance, with that number, she's facing a number of years in jail. 21 million. That's a year.
Again, I'm not sure why someone would take this path, but we get to hear about it every Friday. And a lot of this stuff starts small. They try,
it's amazing.
Hear something small, and then it just evolves into a much bigger scheme. This one, 21 million for an EDA, that's pretty significant.
Absolutely. And
I mean, that was 34 counts in total. That's a very significant number.
I know there are a number of bankers who are directors of CDCs, CDFIs, economic development companies. Take your fiduciary responsibilities seriously.
Yeah.
You are vetted by SBA. It's not hey, we're paying you back, but take it seriously. And because the directors of this EDA are probably have some issues as well. So that's why whenever we have these type of stories, if you're a director of an organization, take that very, very seriously, Lance. That's about all I can say. Yeah. What do we got? Southern California, my neighbors. What did Richard and Marietta do?
Now this one's very interesting. They applied for different PPP and EIDL loans. They got about 21 million. I wasn't able to double check this data, but from what I saw, it looked like they applied for 150 loans. I would have to look into that more, but I thought that was really interesting. So they ended up getting caught. They bought houses, coins.
Yes, one for each and one to spare. Go ahead.
Yeah, 3 houses. And I know California houses aren't cheap, that's for sure. They ended up getting charged or convicted. And as a result, they ended up cutting off their ankle monitors and fleeing California. It's believed that they have ties outside of the United States. So we're not sure where they fled, but they are being looked for.
and they will be caught. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
Lance, again, gold coins, diamonds, other luxury goods. What is their end game? I read an article the other day. I think it was Wall Street Journal that said, hey, if you want to do a startup business, that's fine, but what's your end game after 10 years? Valid questions. And it's an excellent article if you want to bring that up. But again, what's their end game? Did they really think they're going to get away with this? But smartest people in the room, they're smarter than other people, and they obviously thought they could do this forever.
Well, I think the problem is, like I said, they probably started out with one PPP loan and then said, oh, we got that, so let's get a lot. And I think the thing that I look forward to is to see what some of the sentencing is on the significant PPP frauds and how they compare to other financial crimes. You know, these guys, they obviously dipped into the PPP fund pretty significantly. And Bob, I don't know how anyone suspects are not going to get caught if all of a sudden they're out buying luxury homes, gold coins, and diamonds.
We all have friends in law enforcement, and they're not stupid.
What's interesting too is I believe they actually have a history of fraud. About a decade ago, I think they might have been convicted of mortgage fraud, but they never got charged for it or never, went to prison.
Allegedly, Delaney.
Allegedly. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Final story. New York man. So Jean Lavender pled guilty to conspiracy to commit bank fraud. And he only got $5 million. So he's in minor leagues compared to our friends in Southern California. What did he do?
Well, of course, whenever he applied, he lied about many things. Now, he did control these companies, but he falsified payrolls, created fake employees, fake records, and he is going to end up owing that $5 million back. But I thought it was interesting. We talk about this all the time. If you see what he purchased, he got a motel, he got multiple cars, and of course, a nice Bentley and a nice BMW.
I don't know I know BMW. I don't know what an X5 is. I assume, Lance, that's a pretty
a fairly expensive car, Bob.
Yeah, I figured that.
There's an X1 and an X3. The X5 is the upscale model.
Well, of course, if you're gonna.
Yeah, I'm not real sure. It's like anyone that commits fraud. The problem is, and where they get caught is they can't, they want to go out and spend money. And the spending part's what certainly what elevates the spotlight on those individuals, and people start asking questions, and eventually they figure it out. And I know the Department of Justice, the SBA's Inspector General, the FBI, local authorities are all going to be busy for years to come. Good thing for Delaney writing in Fraud Friday, because there's going to be plenty of activity over the extended future.
The Delaney Sexton Full Employment Act.
Yeah.
Very good. So it's and what's the last thought I have on this, Lance, is when we had fraud after the Great Recession, the Justice Department went after all the community bankers. They didn't necessarily get a lot of jail time, but obviously their careers were ruined. All their assets were seized. They went bankrupt. A lot of divorces. I mean, just lives were ruined. And here, but it took a time for these indictments to go through. Usually it was 2, 3, 4 years later. I mean, these are within months, Lance.
Yeah, I think that's the crazy thing about PPP and idle fraud. They are on top of this. These people are being convicted, tried, sentenced in a very efficient fashion. But there's a lot more to come, Bob.
No, I'm sure there is. Hey, let's see. What do we got? We got some webinars coming real quick. Next week after Labor Day, we're going to do a webinar on SBIC with Marty Techler. Lance is going to do SBA PPP loans past due. We hit 31 days. What do we do next? We're going to prepare the 7A tab third week in September. And then we're going to underwrite the business acquisition loan, which is becoming more and more of an issue in the SBA reviews. So that's our packed schedule for September. Please to take advantage of those opportunities. Lance, enjoy your weekend. Everyone enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much for your time. Let's just go ahead and cut it short here, and we'll talk to you Tuesday. Thank you all for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.
Have a great weekend.